The next set of data that I want to bring into Forma allows us to further adapt and change our views on what is happening with the site. Building simulation data is something that informs us with some level of precision on what the building should do, where to place PV panels, window orientation and shading, material specification, and so on. Analytical data doesn't only come from building simulations, though, it also comes from GIS, or Geographic Information Systems. This data should be incorporated into programs that leverage mapping as a tool for outcome-based design thinking. When we start combining social data, building simulation data, and a visceral understanding of relevance, we can begin to develop a path on not only what a building should do in terms of form and performance, but how the building should be formed to develop or elevate a location. Specifically, in the next few examples, what are the social issues happening around this site, including economics, education, and crime? Now, this is where, when you form a topic for something like AU, you speculate about what you're going to be able to do, and you find, some holes in your thinking. So one of the pieces of information that I have is free and reduced lunch. And this is a key map for understanding both need, income, society. A lot of interesting information comes out of just this one single map, which denotes the percentages of families in an area on free and reduced lunch. So a map like this doesn't happen only at, or I should say, doesn't happen at the house level, right? Cities aren't going to share that data specifically to a exact location. And also, when we want to see its trends, it's better seen as something that happens at the overall level of a city. So if I look at free and reduced lunch, this is a Springfield map that begins to establish the overall trends where need and income start to overlap in this free and reduced lunch situation. So if we import that in, the first thing that we notice is it's going to come in at a small scale. It's a raster image. It doesn't know what it is. But I cannot expand this map past my canvas, right? So once I start getting edge to edge, it is not going to go any further. And I would love to see Forma add this capability in, underlaying a graphic, underlaying vector lines, so that GIS data can come in at the city scale to help us inform this more localized, smaller canvas. So right now, what we're going to do instead is leverage the file that we sent to Forma, or sent to Revit rather, as information that where we can see this sort of larger social data playing out in software that is less relevant in terms of, or less restrictive, I should say, less restrictive in terms of overall size of things. So if I go into Revit and import this same map, insert, image, free and reduced lunch, and place it. Again, it's a raster image. It has no idea how big it is. But I do have two major highways on each side of the city, here and here, that I can use Google Maps to measure. So I'm in Google Maps. I've strung a line from here to here. It is 4.75 miles, or 25,080 feet. So when we go back into Revit, I can create a couple of guidelines running from edge and then offset 25,080 feet. And then let's copy this line on my other side of the other highway on the west or east side of the city. So I have my known value per the raster image and the value I need that to be. So select, scale, what I have, what I want, and essentially that map is now roughly scaled to the size 1-to-1 of the city. So I've already nudged that into place. So you can see there is our site, the downtown square, and its relations. And one of the things you're going to see right away is our site is actually cut pretty exactly on this edge of need, where the poverty line is 80 to 100% of the houses in red are on free and reduced lunch. Or I should say 80% of families are on free and reduced lunch. So our site really is right at this juxtaposition of massive amount of need and a location where it's only 0 to 20% of the houses on free and reduced lunch. So there's sort of this arc that comes right through, this implied line that comes through of need, and the site happens to be sitting right on that. If we look at a few other pieces of social data, crime, really similar right through here. There's a density issue that also is created by our downtown area where crime sort of sneaks into that area. But again, our site is at an edge where this is a social issue for sure. Education, see almost an identical path or identical arc right through that area where our site is right on the edge. And one of the, more lighthearted but very viable things to look at is where our assets. Pokemon Go places things at locations people want to go to, and you can see a source map for those online. And you'll notice again, our site is here. Social assets that would draw a Pokemon to be placed there, all of those are to the east of the site until we get way out of the location for that. So a lot of things are happening east side of the city, not much is happening west side. And this location really is about the city starting to build this bridge and develop in a direction towards the west side of our city from downtown to begin filling these gaps. Really, really important social issues coming together.